Everyone is obsessed with social media, Reels, TikToks, LinkedIn carousels, YouTube shorts. And look, I get it. I create content too. Social definitely has its place. But here's what I'm noticing. The entrepreneurs who are quietly building the most loyal, highest converting audiences, they have one thing in common that most people overlook completely. They show up in their audience's inbox every single week at minimum. Email is not dead. In fact, I'd argue it's the most underrated marketing asset available to you right now, especially if you are selling a high ticket offer. And today I want to talk about why that is and then show you with a demonstration of how AI can set you up with a beautiful branded email newsletter template in just a few minutes. So the only thing standing between you and a weekly newsletter is click hitting send. So let's get into it. So let me ask you something. How many social media platforms have you been on in, say, the last 5 years that have changed their algorithm, throttled your reach, or just completely shifted the rules on you? All of them. Yeah, every single one. Me too. Here's the uncomfortable truth about social media. You don't own that audience. You're renting space on someone else's platform, and they can change the terms anytime they want. Your email list, on the other hand, that's yours. Nobody can take it away. No algorithm decides whether your message gets seen. When you send an email, it lands in the inbox of someone who raised their hand and said, yes, I want to hear from you. That is an incredibly powerful thing. And here's what a weekly newsletter does specifically for authority-based businesses like yours and mine. It keeps you top of mind consistently, week after week. Your name, your likeness, your thinking, your insights, your expertise, they show up in their inbox. You become a familiar, trusted presence, not someone that they vaguely remember following on Instagram 6 or 8 months ago. It demonstrates your expertise. So important. Every email is an opportunity to share an insight, a perspective, a strategy. And over time, that body of work positions you as the go-to authority in your space. And it warms leads on autopilot. Someone might be on your list for 3 months before they're ready to invest or book a call. But when they're ready, because you've been showing up every week, you are the obvious choice. That's the power of a weekly newsletter. And the reason that most entrepreneurs don't have one isn't that they don't see the value of it. It's usually because getting started feels like a really big production, especially from a design perspective, which is exactly what I want to fix today. Go High Level has an AI-powered email template builder that takes all the design work off your plate completely. You just describe your brand, you describe your style, your content, and it generates a polished, professional branded email template that you can reuse every week. So let me show you how it works, and we'll go over to my computer. Okay, so we are inside my Go High Level account, and we are on the left-hand side under marketing. And in marketing, we have a social planner, snippets, countdown timers, and a whole bunch of other features, including brand boards. Right now, though, we're focusing on emails, and specifically, we're going to go to the templates section, and now I'm going to click on Build with AI. If you don't see this, it's because you need to go down to settings into labs and activate this beta feature, at which point you'll see this purple button show up. So if I click on Build with AI, you'll see that email AI pops up, and we have assist or build. You can rename the template by clicking the little pencil icon. So if you wanted to call this newsletter or your business, you can rename it. In fact, I'd suggest that you do. Now over here, you can click on the little check mark for apply brand boards, which is another feature I just mentioned in that top menu section at the top of the email section a moment ago. You need to build these out if you want to activate them within this email assist feature. If you don't check it, it's not going to prompt you to choose from the drop-down menu. As it just so happens, I have already created mine. So yours will look more like, here, let me take these out because these are not going to show up for you as you start yours. Yours will look more like this when you open it up. This check mark may or may not be on by default. But if you click on apply brand boards, this whole box opens and now you can click below. I will create another video on how to create the brand boards so that you have something to choose from in these drop-down menus. And I'll do that video and it'll be linked around this one. So you choose your brand voice. In this case, I'll choose this one and I will choose my brand board 2026, which I've already pre-created. Now below that, I will put in, again, when you first log in, it's not going to have all these all defaulted. It'll look like this. So you will put in the name of your company. So I'm just going to do this from scratch so you can see what it would look like. Business niche, you'll choose what yours is. Let's just say, for example, ICONMAKER was not coaching and consulting. We were real estate, as example, or our target audience were retirees. You can pick whatever you want. The goal of this email is to get, sell products and services. And what you're offering is a newsletter update. In this case, what do we want from the newsletter? From the newsletter, we want to do an announcement, as an example. It could be any number of combinations of these things. And then what you would do is click on generate. So this is going to generate. It may take a few minutes. I'm not going to have you watch the paint dry. So I will come back as soon as this is generated. And I'll tell you exactly how long it took. Okay, great. That took about 35 seconds to create. And here's what it did. It created the, again, fictitious ICONMAKER retiree real estate announcement newsletter, right? So it can be, this is the template now that you can reuse week after week to create your own newsletter. Now, I do want to mention there are other platforms out there that allow you and have AI baked into them. I mean, what today doesn't have AI baked into it, that can create newsletters. The trouble with it, and I guess the thing I would just point out, is that these are third-party tools. If you're someone who is really wanting to have less tools and to be able to utilize the things you're already invested in. So for example, if you decide that you love Go High Level as much as we do, we want to utilize as many of the features within that one tool as we possibly can. I'm trying to eliminate as many third-party tools as possible. Sometimes there are things in third-party tools that I prefer better or that I might want to use that we don't have these features in Go High Level. Sometimes that happens. Okay, great. But if I can avoid having to pay another $49 a month, $79 a month, $28 a month, whatever, I'm going to likely opt for that if I'm going to get the same result. So that's part of the reason why I love just being able to keep it simple. There's something to be said for going back to basics and just keeping things as simple as possible. No one needs more complexity in their lives, least of which are entrepreneurs who need more complexity. We need simplicity, right? We need to streamline, if anything. So when we see this, you can see here, you can just change the logo. You just simply go up here and you would change this logo to yours. You can change the wording. You can change what you want to change on a weekly basis with this template. The pictures can change. Your calls to action can change week after week, schedule a no pressure consultation, et cetera, et cetera. You have your social platforms at the bottom. You've got your unsubscribe footer at the bottom. It all does it for you. And that literally took 35 seconds. So I think it's super, super powerful to be able to create this. All you do now is you go over here and save the template. And it says it's saved. Now let's go back. Oops, let's go back. And we can see here under templates, click on, it's going to be likely at the end of these pages. So what I like to do is click on the recent clock because it'll bring it right to the top here. It named it automatically for us as ICONMAKER Trustworthy Announcement. That's what it called, the template. So we can go in here and just rename. Oh, I think it looks like we have to click into it in order to rename. That's fine. So we'll go in here and we'll go up to the top and we'll click on the little pencil icon and we will rename it whatever you want to name your newsletter. So if we go in here and we call it Announcement newsletter, for example, if that's what we wanted to kind of call it, newsletter or week newsletter. And you could call it template if you want to, although it is already identified in the template bin, but nonetheless, you can call it template if that helps you. And now we'll go back and see how it looks. It doesn't look like there's a rename button from this page. So there you have it, your ICONMAKER announcement weekly newsletter template. And if you click on the three dots, you'll see a bunch of different features here. You can create a campaign using this template. You can clone it, you can preview it. And so you would just come in here week after week and use this template to create your newsletter. So if I was doing that, I would probably come in here and then I would create my campaign. I would name that campaign for that week's date. So what is it today? April the 12th, so it would be whatever the date. That's probably how I would name it. So I could keep it very clear under my campaigns tab, how I'm using that template week after week after week. And then you'd go into that campaign and you would alter the content to suit what you want to communicate in that specific week. I want to zoom out for a second as well, because this is really about more than just a pretty email template. Building a weekly newsletter is one of the highest leverage things that you can do as an authority-based entrepreneur. It compounds. Every week that you show up, you're adding another layer of trust, another demonstration of expertise, another touch point with someone who could become a client or a referral partner or a stage for you. And the entrepreneurs who do this consistently, who show up in the inbox every single week without fail, they're the ones whose audiences say, hey, I've been following you for months and I'm finally ready. That's not luck. That's the compound effect of consistent presence. Go High Level, our CRM of choice, makes it easy to not just build the template, but to manage the entire email operation, your list, your segments, your automations, all in one place without juggling 5 different tools. No tech headaches either, thankfully. Just you, your content, and your audience. And that's what leverage really looks like. So if you want to get started with Go High Level and set up your own branded newsletter template, sign up for a free 30-day trial using the link in the description below this video. And if you missed my last video where I showed you how GHL's AI builds you a complete website in 3 minutes, yes, I'm going to show you exactly how it all comes together in the video next.